repeated failure to, this is a quote, unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs, end quote. With Kyrie later issuing an apology for his social media post last week about a book and movie that feature anti-Semitic tropes. Kyrie had refused to apologize during a post-practice media session earlier Thursday, and the Nets subsequently said Kyrie is, quote, currently unfit to be associated with the Brooklyn Nets. Here is some of what Kyrie had to say at the presser.
I take my responsibility for posting that. Some things that were questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, and the first time you guys asked me when I was sitting on that stage, I don't believe everything that everybody posts. It's a documentary. So, take my responsibility.
So, that was at practice, not the presser. On an Instagram post late last night, Kyrie wrote, part of what Kyrie wrote, quote, to all Jewish families and communities that are hurt and affected from my post, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. Now, I'm Jewish, and to me, once someone's, unless you want to do a deep dive into the subtleties of his own personal beliefs, including religious and sociological and political feelings, at a certain point you turn the page. To me, when the issue with Kyrie that we're really talking about here is Kyrie. Whatever other point you want to make, if a documentary quotes Adolf Hitler about the Jews as having some kind of wisdom, you should probably understand that's not something you want to amplify, even if there are other parts of it that you like. I think what people really want to know is, don't you understand that's disqualifying? And if people want to go down that path with Kyrie, have at it. To me, once he says what he said and released the statement he released, I would turn the page. I don't know if the page will be turned, though.
It seems like to me, and you know me, Max, I don't get caught up in all of the Kyrie pre-this conversations that he's had or whatever he's gone through with his issues. But it sounds like to me, just from an outsider, that he's apologized like 3 or 4 different times, it feels like. Mm-hmm. I mean, it also feels like people are looking for a certain word to make it an apology, right? Because he said, that clip that you just played, it sounded like to me he said he apologized, that he hurt people and all of those things. Isn't that an apology?
He's asking.
Well, I can't hear you,
I thought it was a rhetorical question. Yes, it is.
No, I'm asking you.
Yes, to me it is. To me, that's not the issue. I think what people really want is they want to probe Kyrie to find out what he really feels about the whole thing, what's in his heart about it, how he thinks about it, and
but
Kyrie is doing.
It doesn't sound like he wants to give you that.
That's right. But furthermore, Kyrie, when he gets together with the attorneys or whatever it is and releases a statement, or the league, and the statement's fine, it's clean, you move on. If you then pursue him verbally at a press conference, at a practice, he may then also reveal something that you don't like. This can go on forever.
Well,
right?
Well, it feels like he's reacting in different ways because he feels like he's being attacked by it, right? And just looking at it from the outside looking in. But I just want to read the next line of his statement. He said, I initially reacted out of emotion of being unjustly labeled anti-Semitic instead of focusing on the healing process of my Jewish brothers and sisters that were hurt from the hateful remarks made in the documentary.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's what I said from the beginning, right? Like, I don't see Kyrie Irving as anti-Semitic. I see him exploring what is black heritage. In a completely other thought, right? There is a feeling, and I'm not saying it warrants like promoting that kind of stuff, but there is a feeling within the black community that for a very, very long time, there have been a lot of stereotypes and depictions of black people that have been rewarded and applauded in our society, that have gotten reposted, have gotten talked about, that people didn't need to provide that context. I'm not saying it warrants Kyrie to not give context from the beginning, which he should have, and properly articulated himself. But there is a history of that happening where it hasn't caused the same uproar from a lot of people. And I think it has a lot of people still disturbed in that manner.
Well, you mean like movies and Oscar award movies and things
exactly
of that nature?
What I mean, Key.
Yeah.
And look,
and I'm not saying that makes this right at all.
But you have to.
It's a separate conversation.
That pent up frustration over time is understandable. But if you, particularly in this country, but if you want to point somewhere other than this, like Kyrie saying, I didn't make the documentary. Kyrie, no one's saying you made the documentary, but you did amplify it, and there's bad stuff in there. You'd have to
But
use
okay,
an example
question to Max.
from today.
I'm not condoning it. I'm asking a question.
Yeah.
Like,
But
people
Max-
amplify crazy stuff all the time. Rap lyrics, rap songs, videos that depict negative things. I'm not saying that it's the same thing, but I'm just saying, like, it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people on what they do on social media.
No, I think
this
crosses the Rubicon in a different kind of way.
I didn't see the documentary at all, and don't plan on seeing it.
Right.
I just can only go off somebody like Jay who saw it, or Kyrie, and listening to him. And Jay saying that he wanted to understand his, black heritage and all of those sort of things. Because Adolf Hitler, like you said, Max, was quoted in it, I don't think Kyrie Irving was speaking to that part of the
I agree.
documentary.
You're speaking to
But
that.
that's right. That's why I'm saying what people really want to know from Kyrie is, Kyrie, do you understand that something like that is disqualifying? And whatever else you like about it, you shouldn't amplify
and
it.
Max,
For example, Key.
He did say that from the beginning.
I was about to say,
he
Max,
talked about that, but it just
he
didn't
said
come out
that
the way that
already.
people wanted him to say it.
As he kept talking, if you watched the press conference, what I was thinking is, oh, God, if they keep asking him questions, he's going to start to say things in a way, not only the wording, but also the kind of attitude that he's presenting it with that people are not going to like. Because he feels a certain way, he doesn't want to be made to apologize, and no one wants to be made to apologize. I would say the analogy would be this. If there was some pro-Jewish documentary, let's say, and I wanted to explore my Jewish heritage, but in that documentary, there was a quote, or a supposed quote, it's actually not a real, but a supposed quote from the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan about black people. And it was meant to be seen as a wise quote. There's wisdom in it. I would understand immediately. I'm not retweeting this because whatever else in it I think I might like, that's disqualifying. Mm-hmm. That's what people want to know from Kyrie. But I do agree with both of you. It seems to me he has stated that several times throughout the course of this. So if people want to keep probing to find things they don't like, they probably will. Or we can choose to turn the page now because he has issued several apologies.
And I just want to say this in closing before we go. The conversation that we have on the show comes from a place of love and understanding, right? Trying to reason. Like, we don't want any part of society to be marginalized. Right. We don't want anybody to talk about any racist tropes at all. Like, we are all brothers on this show, and we defend each other. So, but I think sometimes what happens is people hear trigger words, and it just creates reaction, with anger, and they can't talk through the process or the nuance of the situation. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Agreed.
I'm not your brother.
Well,
but cousin. All right.
I just know you from afar.
We're going to be getting back to this all throughout the show. Why the biggest Dolphins hater in the media might be. Oh, did you see his head snap up when he said that?
Are you talking about Keyshawn?
What? Keyshawn Johnson. We'll explain after Key has this from Granger.
I'm not in the media. For all the ones who get